Hi, I'm William. Welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be going through some math papers with you. The purpose is that I want to help you with your math learning, and hopefully by solving these questions step by step, you will be able to improve your math learning, and also eventually you will be able to try to get 100% for these questions and also this exam paper, which is totally possible. So if you are new to the channel, remember to hit the subscribe button and also give me a like, so you will be able to see all my future videos about these math tutorials. Okay, so for the paper we will be doing together today is the primary SA2, which is the final exam at the end of the year for Nan Hua School. So today we'll be doing for primary 5. So before we start the paper, I think I'll put the link to the paper down there, and then if you are watching this from your computer, you'll be able to see the link to download the paper. I would strongly encourage you to print the paper out, or just try to maybe you'll either use the iPad and then try to do the paper by yourself first, and then you can follow my videos. It will be much more helpful if you try the question by yourself first, and then you can check the answer. We can go through the answer together. It will be much helpful if you do that, and then so we can also check where you did right or where you go wrong. All right. So let's get started. Let's have a look at the question 1. Arrange the following fractions from the smallest to the greatest. So here we see there are 3 fractions, 5/4, 1 and 1/6, and 10/9. So we want to arrange from the smallest to the biggest. So basically you can see here for the 5/4, you can change to 1/1/4, 1 and 1/4, and then for the 9, for the 10 out of 9, you can be 1 and 1/9. So all of them will have a 1 in the front, which you can ignore. So basically the question is asking you about 1/4, 1/6, and also 1/9 to do a comparison. So as we know, for fraction, if everything have a same denominator, which is the bottom, if the bottom is the same, the greater the top number, the greater is the fraction. On the other hand, if the top is the same, then it's the other way around. If the top is the same, then the greater the bottom, the smaller the fraction. Okay, so now we want to arrange from the smallest to the greatest. So 1/9, 9 is the greatest number, so which means 1/9 will be the smallest, and then followed by 1/6, and then followed by 1/4. So which means so which one is the smallest one? Is the one with the 9 at the bottom. So 10/9 is the smallest, and then followed by 1 and 1/6, and then followed by 5/4. So the answer will be 3 here. Okay, let's move to the next question. Now let's have a look on question 2. 30.303 is the same as. Okay, so basically this is a question about the number and the conversion to the the decimal point conversion to the fractions. Okay, so it's a 30.303, so there is a 30 in the front. So that obviously you can see option 1 and option 3 are already wrong, so we can cross it out because they have a 3 in the front. Okay, so it's a 30, and then 0.303. 0.303, so it's a basic 0.3 plus 0.003. Okay, so 0.3, as you know, so there was 1 place after the decimal point. So one place means it will become 10, which is 10. Then you can put the 3 at the top. And then what about 0.003? 0.003, how do you convert to fraction? So again, you check how many place or position were there after the decimal point. So there is 1, 2, 3. So totally 3 totally 3 position or 3 place after the decimal point. So it will be equivalent to 1, 2, 3, 3 zeros here, which is 1000, and then you put the 3 at the top. Okay, so basically you just need to put all these numbers together. So the answer will be 30 in the front plus 3/10 then plus 3 over 1000. So the option is 4. The answer is 4. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Let's have a look on question 3. Find the value of 10 minus 50 divide. I'm not sure if you can see the question properly, but it's a divide here. Bracket 2 plus 3, close bracket, times 2. So this is a question about the calculations. So as you know, there are 3 order of different calculation. The first priority is you do the calculation inside the brackets. Then the second priority is you do the multiplication and the division by orders. Okay, and then the last one is then you do the plus and minus. Okay, that's how you should do the question. So basically with this simple equation, so you don't do the 100, so you leave the 100 there, minus 50, divide. We will do whatever is inside the fraction first. So what's inside the fraction? 2 plus 3. So 2 plus 3 equal to 5. Okay, we can keep the 5 here, and then times by 2. Okay, then we move on to the next row. We still don't do the 100 and also the minus. Then we will do the multiplication and the division first. Some of the common mistake you will make is some people will do 5 times 2 first, and then 50 divided by 10, but that's generally wrong. So when you have multiplication and division together, then you need to do by sequence. So we need to do from the left to the right. So you need to do the calculation of 50. You need to do the calculation of 50 divided by 5 next. Okay, so what's 50 divided by 5 is equal to 10. Then you write times 2 here. Then you move on to the next row. 100, you still don't do anything because it was followed by a minus. So we still don't do this calculation here. So 10 times 2 equals to 20. Then the next row you can do the calculation of 100 minus 20, which will give you 80. So the answer is 3. Alright, let's move on to the next question. Question 4. How many common factors do 16 and 40 have? So this is a common trap you will fall into. So he's asking the common factors. So let's figure out what are all the factors for 16 and also 40. So I will do this on the right hand side. For 16, it can be 1 times 16. It can be 2 times 8. It can be 4 times 4. Yeah, so basically the factors is 1, 2, 4. 4 is repeating, and then 8, and then 16. So this is the factors of 16. Let's do the same thing for 40. 40 can be 1 times 40. It has a factor of 2 times 20. Then it can be, there will be another 2, which it will be 4 times 10. Then it can be 5 times 8. Then it will follow by another 8 times 5. So it was basically circle back. So the factors is 1, 2, 4, 5, 8, 10, 20, and 40. So what are the common ones? So what are the common factors is 1, 2, 4, and 8. So in total, there are 4 common factors. So the answer will be 4. Okay? So the common error you will have is you will realize there is a common factor of 2. There could be a common factor of 4. But then you might also realize there's a common factor of 8. But you might miss the common factor of 1 itself. So because this is talking about the common factor, so we need to include from 1 all the way to itself, which is 16 and 40 in these cases. So the way to do this is you list down all the common factors, and then you can pick what are the common ones. Then that will be the answer. So totally there are 4. Okay, let's move on to next question. Let's move to next question, question 5. In a class of 33 students, 14 of them are girls. Find the ratio of number of boys to the total number of students. Okay, so it's very important for all the questions. You need to read the question very carefully and also find out what exactly they're asking for, which answer they want you to write. Okay, so we want to find out the number of boys and to the total number of students. Total number of students 33 we already have. The number of boys, okay, so there are totally 33 students, and then 14 of them are girls, which means the rest of the other boys. So 33 minus 14 equals to 19. So 19 of them are the boys. Okay, and the question is asking the ratio of number of boys to the total number of students. So the answer will be 19 to the total number of students, which is 33. So the answer will be 1. Okay, so it's important to understand what are the question asking for, and then you go and do the calculation. Okay, so be very, very careful. A lot of people fall into the trap of seeing the question, jump into the conclusion straight away, because the question could be the number of boys versus the number of girls, then the answer would have been 3, for example, 19 versus 14. Okay, so always look into the question and make sure that you know what they are asking for. All right, let's move to the next question. Question number 6. The table below shows the number of students who wear spectacles in the club. Okay, so basically you have a table. This is about how to read the table and then extract the information. So the table on the left-hand side, there is the student who wear a spectacle, the student who do not wear a spectacle, and also total. And then vertically we have female, male, and also total. Okay, let's have a look at what the question is asking for. So what's the percentage of students who are girl and also wear spectacles? Okay, so let's check. So we want to know about the spectacles, so we should check the first column. And then we want to find out about girl, so which is female, so we should check this as column. So the number we are looking for is 9. Okay, so it's 9 out of total. So total is here, and also total is here, which means we need to check this column, which is 50. So it's 9 out of 50. And then we are trying to work out what are the percentage. So when you want to calculate the percentage, especially for a fraction, basically what you need to do is took the denominator, try to convert the fraction and to change the denominator to 100. Then you will be able to use the number on the top as the percentage. So if we try to change the fraction from 50 to 100, basically you times 2 here at the bottom. So you do the same, you times 2 at the top. So 9 times 2 will equal to 18, which means the percentage-wise is 18%. So the answer is 1. Let's move to the next question. Question number 7. Bella watched a movie on television that lasted for 1 hour 45 minutes. The movie ended at 11:05 p.m. What time does the movie started? Okay, so basically he already tell you that the ending time, which is 11:05, and then he also tell you the duration of the movie. So what you need to do is just do the calculation, but in this case it will be minus. Okay, so we took 11.5 and then minus 1:45. Okay, this is the hour, this is the minutes. Okay, so it's a simple calculation. But when you are doing the calculation for time, two things to remember. One is for the minutes calculation, try not to do from 1 decimal, because now you are in grade 5. You should be able to do the calculation for 2 decimals. It's important, and I'll explain why. The second thing is when you are trying to borrow the number from the when you are trying to borrow the number, remember every 1 hour is 60 minutes. So it's a little bit different when you are doing the other subtraction. That's when you borrow 1 from the previous decimal, then it becomes 10. So in this case, when you are doing the borrowing, you need to remember you borrow 1 hour to become the minutes, and 1 hour will equal to 60 minutes. Okay, so let's do the calculation here. 5 minus 45 is not enough. So what you need to do is we will borrow 1 hour from here. So the 11 become 10. So the minutes will become 60. So you took the 60 divided minus 45 will equal to 15. You plus the remaining 5, so it will become 20 minutes. And then 10 hour minus 1, which will give you 9. So which means the movie actually starting from 9:20 p.m. So the answer will be 2. Let's move to the next question. Let's have a look on question 8. What is 19.651 when rounded to the nearest tenth? Okay, so this is a question about rounding off. Okay, so it could be round up, could be round down. Okay, so we want to round to the 10th decimals. So when the question is asking for round to certain decimal, then what you need to do is to look at the decimal on the right hand side of the decimal they point out. So which is the decimal of 10? So 19.651, the 10th decimal is here. Okay, so which means you don't look at the 6. You know, that's not what you should look at. You should look at the number next to the 6, which is 5. Okay, so looking to 5, so the rule of rounding up or rounding off is when the number is 4 or below, then you round it off. When the number is 5 or above, then you increase by 1 on the previous higher decimals. So in this case, the number is 5, which means you need to round up. Then the 6 will need to increase by 1, so it will become 19.7. Okay. The common error people will make is when we want to round off to the nearest 10th, they were looking into the 10th decimal, which is 6, and then they will round it up to make the number become 20. Okay, so that's an error actually. So when you are, so always underline the decimal which you want to round off to, then you look into the decimal which is on the right hand side, and then you can decide if it's round up or round down, whether the number is bigger than 5 or smaller than 4. Okay, so in this case the answer is 3. Let's move to the next question. Question number 9. In the figure, ABCD is a rectangle. AF equal to EF, which is a label in the picture. And then the angle AFE is 64 degrees. Find the angle DAF. Okay, basically you want to find the angle here. Okay, so AF equal to FE. So that means it's an isolated triangle. I don't know how to pronounce that properly, but there's a basic triangle with two sides is the same. So when the two sides is the same, what does it tell you? It means this side and this side, the angle is the same. Okay, and now we want to, and also ABCD is a rectangle, which means this angle here is a 90 degrees. Okay, so this is the two most important clue for you. All right, so in a triangle, we all know all three angles add up to 180 degrees. So if angle AFE is 64, so we took 180 minus 64, which equals to 116 degrees. So 116 degrees is equal to the two angles at the top together, but the two angles was the same. So which means if you want to find out the value of the angle, you can simply divide by 2 because they are the same, and add up together to be 116. So if you divide by 2, which is 58, that means the angle FAE is 58. So if you want to find out DAF, so DAF plus FAE is 90 degrees because it's a right angle. So if you want to find out the angle DAF, basically it's a right angle which is 90 degrees minus FAE, which is 58 degrees, then the answer is 32 degrees. So the answer is 2. Okay, so if you are experienced enough, or if you are in the higher level, basically another way to check this is, let me rub this off. Another way to do this is a isolated triangle, but basically if you can draw a line here, you will split the angle into 2. Okay, so which means here is 32 degrees. You know, and you will also know in this picture here, this angle will equal to this angle. So the answer will be 32 here as well. You know, which is the same as the answer we have. So I think in grade 5 this is quite difficult to see in such way, but it could be a good way for you to check your answer if you see this kind of question again. Okay, but it should not be your primary way of solving the problem. I'm just showing you that there are many ways to solve one math questions. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Question 10. The table shows the postage rate of sending packages to Malaysia. Okay, so basically, again, it's extracting information from the table. So on the left-hand side, you have a different weightage or different mass for the postage. and on the right hand side, there's a fee. Okay, so how to read the table? It says 100 gram, 2.5, 250 gram, 3.9, 500 gram, 5.2, and everything above 100 gram is another 1.1. It's a duration actually. You know, some of the people will understand and sort. So if it's 100 gram, it's 2.5. So if it's a 200 gram, it will be 2.5 times 2. No, that's not right. The table basically shows you the duration. So which means from 0 to 100 gram is 2.5, and then from 101 to 250 gram is 3.9, and so on and so forth. So the third one is 250 to 500 is a 5.2. And then if anything above 500 gram, every 100 gram you need to pay 1.1 in addition. Okay. And the other thing is also a duration. So for example, if you are sending anything in 50 gram, which is under 100 gram, so no matter it's 50 gram or 60 or 70 gram, as long as it's below 100 gram, you need to pay for 2.5. So they don't charge you by gram. They charge you. So how you need to read this is, whatever you want to send, you need to check under which duration it fall under, and then you can check what should be the right postage you need to pay. Okay, so now the question is, how much does it cost to send a package of 450 grams? Okay, so then you go back to your table. 450 grams, so it's higher than 250 grams, but below 500 grams. Okay, so it was the rate here, right? So basically the answer is quite straightforward, 5.2. Okay, so you don't need to do the division like the $5.2 divided by 500 and then times by 450. No, that's not how you calculate. Okay, so in this case, which is the real life scenario, is you will check in which duration or which range does the weightage fall under, and then you just across check the table and then pay for the right postage. Okay, so this should be quite straightforward. Let's move on to the next question. Question 11. What's the value of 20 divided by 500? Okay, so basically from the answer you can see there are a couple of decimal points here. There are a couple of answers with the decimal points. So this is a conversion between a division or between a fraction to decimal points. Okay, so how do we calculate that? Remember, when you want to convert any fraction to decimal points, the easiest way is always to make sure the denominator is in the multiple of 10. So it's either 10 or 1000, it's 10, 100, 1000, 10,000, so on and so forth. And then you will be able to convert. You can count how many zeros are there, and then you can convert to decimal points. Okay, so let's do the calculation here. 20 divided by 500. So there was a 0 at the top and a 0 at the bottom, so we can just cross out, which means equal to 2 over 50. So 2 over 50, you can either convert the bottom to 10, or the easier way is to convert the bottom to 100. Okay, so let's try 100. So from 50 to 100, you basically times 2 here, so you also times 2 at the bottom, at the top, so it will become 4. Okay, so 4 over 100 equals to, so 100 there are 2 zeros here, which means it will give you 2 place or 2 positions of the decimal points, and then you fill in the number at the top, which is 4. Then you fill in the number 4 here, and then there was no number here in the middle, so you fill in with a 0. So it's 0.04. The answer is 2. Alright, so some people might ask, how do you know? It's sometimes very difficult to remember, you know, but the golden rule to help yourself is 1 over 10 equals to 0.1. Okay, so when you have another 0, 1.100, then 1 over 100, so another 0, so it will become 0.01. So if you can't remember all of this, you don't have to. Always starting from 1 over 10, because 1 over 10 you will know is 0.1. So when you have additional 0 at the bottom, you move it across another position in decimal points. So if you know 1 over 100 is 0.01, then 4 over 100 obviously becomes 0.04. Okay, so I think, again, you don't need to remember everything by heart, but you know, something like this will help you to remember these rules easily, and you won't get it wrong in the exam. Yeah. Let's move on to question 12. Question 12. find the area of the triangle. So how do we calculate the area of triangle? Basically, is that you took the base times the height and then times by half or divide by 2 basically. But mostly in this kind of question, more importantly is how do you identify the base and how do you identify the height. Okay, I think the base is quite straightforward, but the height is quite difficult. So normally how do you determine the height? So there are two principles for the height. One is the height and the base will be perpendicular to each other, which means they will form a 90 degrees. And then the second thing is the height is the distance from the third vertex, which is the third point of the triangle. You draw a line and then and then it will form a 90 degree versus the base. Okay, so in this case, if you look into the triangle, we are very used to look at the triangle with the base at the bottom and the height as a vertical. But in this case, it's a little bit difficult to see, but actually it's quite straightforward. So if the base is here, and then you can see there is a right angle here, which means the height is also here. So for calculation, it's quite straightforward. So the base is 6 plus 15, which is 21. 6 plus 15, which is 21. So the calculation, the formula is 21 times height times half. So the calculation is quite straightforward. 21 times 8 is equal to 168 times by half equals to 84. Okay, so that's basically the answer. 84, so the answer is 1 here. Okay, some people might ask, why not we just took 10 and times by 17? Isn't that also a height and versus a base? Okay, it will look like it, but in reality is the question didn't tell you if, remember the principle, the base and height need to be perpendicular to each other, which means they need to form a 90 degree. Even though it looks like it's a 90 degree, but as long as the question don't tell you, you cannot assume it's a 90 degree. So if you take 10 times 17 and then divide by 2, then the answer will be wrong actually. Yeah, because it never really say it's 90 degrees, so you can't really do that. Okay, so a lot of these kind of questions with the geometries, they will say the diagram or the picture is not drawn to scale, which means you need to follow the instruction, read the question very carefully, and then only use the clue that give it to you. For example, another kind of question will be, they will draw a couple of straight lines, and some of them they will say it's a straight line, but there will be some line, it will look like a straight line, but if they didn't tell you it's a straight line, then you cannot assume it's a straight line, and you cannot use any theory about straight lines on the pictures. Okay, so just be very, very careful. Only use the information they provide to you, and if the information is not there, you cannot assume it. Okay, so that's a little bit of trap on this one. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Question 13. Question 13. In the figure, AOB, COD, and the EOF are straight lines. Here we go. We mentioned it. We talked about this just now. So they mentioned all these three lines are straight lines. So you will be able to apply the principle and theory about straight lines on these pictures. So COE is 42 degrees and BOD is 63. Then they want to find AOF, which is here. Okay, so basically, if they want to find AOF, so what's the first principle or theory? If there are two straight lines, then the two opposite angles are the same. Okay, so which means this angle here and this angle here are basically the same. Okay, and then the second thing is, second principle about straight line is, in a straight line, all the angle add up together, it will be 180 degrees. So in this question, we have a 42 degree here, and we have a 63. And then if you include the angle EOB, which we mark just now, you will form a straight line. So basically, these three angles will add up as 180 degrees. So you already know the other two angles, so you will be able to calculate the last one very easily. All right, so 42 plus 63 equal to 105. And then, degree here. And then a straight line is 180 degrees minus 105 degrees. So it will be 75 degrees. So the answer is 3. Okay, this one should be quite straightforward. Let's move on to the next question. All right, let's move to the next question, which is a graph question. a school bookshop ordered 200 books, underline here, 200 books, to sell over the period of 5 days. The graph below shows the number of books left at the end of each day. Okay, so study the graph and answer the question 14 and 15. All right, so in the beginning we have 200 books, and then on Monday we have 160. Yeah, let's mark here 160. On Tuesday is 120, and then Wednesday is 90. Thursday is 60. Friday is 10. Okay, because it's between 0 and 20. Okay, so what does the graph mean? It's not the book you sell every day, it's the book which was left at the end of the day. Okay, so by looking into the difference, you will be able to calculate the number of books that sold on that particular day. All right, so just understand the graph first. So let's have a look on question 14. How many books were sold on Thursday? Okay, so on Thursday, at the end of the day, you have 60 books. And at the end of Wednesday, you have 90 books. So whatever is left over on Wednesday, and then if you look into whatever is left over on Thursday, the difference must be the book you sold on Thursday, right? So basically, you took 90 minus 60, which equal to 30. That's the number of the books you sold on that day. So the answer is 1. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Question 15. What is the average number of books sold over the period of 5 days? Okay, so in total, in the beginning we have 200 books. You don't need to check how many books were sold every single day, because you can just check on how many books was left at the last day. So at the last day there was 10 books left. So 200 minus 10. So in the course of 5 days, you sold 190 books. And then you want to calculate the average number. So how do you calculate the average number? You took 190 divided by 5. You can do the calculation by yourself, but basically it's equals to 38. Yeah, so the average book gets sold was 38 by day. Okay, so the answer is 2. All right, that's basically the end of the paper. I think it was quite a short first part of the paper. There are some tricky questions, but in general, I don't feel it's very difficult. You should be able to, I think by following the step, I think you should be very confident to get full marks, 100% for the first part. I will be continuing making more videos about the rest of the paper, because I realized in the past I sometimes only focus on the first part or the second part of the paper. I never really finish the paper with you guys. So I will try to now cut the paper into probably 2 to 3 videos, and then you can watch the video one by one. More importantly, please try to do the question together with me, or do the question before you watch the video, and then you can check the answers. Don't just listen to the video, because it's very easy to listen, but when you try to do it by yourself, it will be a little bit different. So hopefully the video is helpful for you. And again, if you're supporting and also like what I'm doing here, if you feel this is helpful, please click on the subscribe button, click on the like, and also share the video if you feel any of your friends will need it. Until next time, then good luck to you, and we will see you again next time. Take care. Bye-bye.